The blue screen of death could throw the global economy into a state of chaos for weeks. Michael Snyder reports it's become glaringly obvious that we are way too dependent on our computers. The latest IT outage in history, the largest one, has thrown the entire global economy into a state of chaos, and we're being told that it could take weeks to fully recover. Countless flights have been cancelled, hospital services have been disrupted, online services are down for a number of big banks, and we're being told that millions of workers may not receive paychecks this month. Can you imagine? If a single software glitch can cause this much insanity, what would happen if the internet was suddenly not available for an extended period of time? A lot of people initially speculate that a cyber attack may be happening, but the truth is that virtually all of the chaos that we have been witnessing was caused by a CrowdStrike update. This issue was caused by a technical problem that global cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike said it had identified in its software and was working to resolve. CrowdStrike provides an antivirus software to Microsoft for its Windows devices. Earlier today, a CrowdStrike update was responsible for bringing down a number of IT systems globally, Microsoft said in a statement to CBS News. To me, this is yet another example of the rampant incompetence that is plaguing our society today. Didn't anyone test this update before they released it to the entire world? The CEO of CrowdStrike says that the issue has been identified and the problem has now been fixed. In a statement, CrowdStrike CEO George Kurtz said the issue had been identified and the solution was being implemented. He added that this is not a security incident or cyber attack. The issue has been identified, isolated, and the fix has been deployed. Unfortunately, this is not going to do much good for users that are now dealing with the infamous blue screen of death. The notorious blue screen of death is popping up everywhere, from banks to supermarkets and media outlets, causing widespread panic and confusion. All United, Delta, and American airline flights were grounded amid the chaos. According to one expert, if you are repeatedly getting the blue screen of death, quote unquote, right now there is not a huge amount you can do for this. Mr. Pardo continued, unfortunately, there is not a huge amount you can do if your computer has the blue screen of death. Computer users will need to wait for their IT team to resolve the issue, and many people may need to work from their phone or use a pen and paper in the meantime. This is a wake-up call for all companies that have been floored by this attack. Organizations need to urgently review their disaster recovery plans to make sure they can deal with such problems. This tech disaster has already caused tremendous supply chain disruptions all over the planet, and CNBC is reporting that it could take days or even weeks to completely restore this crisis. The CrowdStrike software bug that crashed Microsoft operating systems and caused the largest IT outage in history caused disruptions at US and global ports, with highly complex air freight systems suffering the heaviest hit, according to logistic experts, as global airline grounded flights. Planes and cargo are not where they are supposed to be, and it will take days or even weeks to fully resolve. Niall van de Woo, Chief Air Freight Officer at supply chain consulting firm Xeneta, said in a statement shared with CNBC. This is a reminder of how vulnerable our ocean and air supply chains are to IT failure. We certainly did not need this right now because our economic numbers have already been heading in the wrong direction quite rapidly. Meanwhile, the airline industry has been thrown into a state of complete and utter chaos. Over 1,800 flights had been canceled into or out of the U.S. as of Friday morning, and more than 5,000 others were deployed, according to the flight tracker service, FlightAware. Globally, more than 28,000 flights were delayed early Friday. I feel so badly for those that are stuck at an airport at this moment, and if you're one of those people, you might not get to where you're supposed to go for a while. This IT outage has also forced the cancellation of surgeries all over the nation. Gary Baulos woke up at 3:30 a.m. on Friday for open heart surgery to fix 8 blockages A call from the hospital in Paducah, Kentucky soon altered his plans. The procedure would be rescheduled because of a global technology outage that was derailing operations. The 73-year-old retiree made the best of the situation, grabbing a breakfast of bacon and eggs and pancakes at IHOP. I love those, especially their coffee. Before heading home to Marion, he says, "I guess I'll do it some other time," he said. Not everyone was sanguine. Lydia, who asked that her last name be withheld for privacy reasons, had her surgery at the University Hospital Maryland cancelled. A waiting room full of patients and family members all got the news that operations were being placed on hold. Were there people that died because they couldn't get the care that they needed? I hope not. We are also being told that millions of workers may not receive paychecks this month because so many systems are down right now. Millions of workers are at risk of not receiving their paychecks this month amid a global outage that could last weeks. Several of America's biggest banks saw their systems crash this morning, preventing people from accessing their accounts or receiving or sending money. And if you are supposed to get a paycheck on Friday, you are probably at greatest risk. The CEO of the Global Payroll Association says that her organization has received complaints from a number of clients who could not access their payroll software because of the outage. The Global Payroll Association, GPA, warned that people risk going without their wages because their employers or banks rely on CrowdStrike for cybersecurity protection. It remains unclear how widespread the payroll disruption is, but Melanie Pizzi, the founder and CEO of GPA, said her company had received complaints from a number of clients who could not access their payroll software because of the outage. Payroll systems typically need to be notified if any issues that would stop direct deposits from going through at least 2 days before the payday for the issue to be resolved in time. This certainly is not the end of the world, but it is yet another example that shows how incredibly vulnerable we are. I think that if life was much simpler when we relied on pen and paper. Sadly, this is the world that we live in now, and much more chaos is on the way. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder. About the author, Michael Snyder's extremely controversial new book entitled Chaos is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News, and he always freely and happily allows others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Finally, support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.